Greetings! In today's video, I'll be sharing why I switched doctors. That's next. Stay tuned. Welcome to Midlife Mama. I'm Teffani, and on this channel I share videos and vlogs about life after becoming a first-time mom at 46. And I have recently been sharing my recent cancer journey. So if we're meeting for the first time, welcome. Join the journey, subscribe, follow along, get to know us, watch some of the other videos on the channel. If you are a regular viewer, thank you so much for rocking with me and welcome back. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys why I switched doctors after my first round of chemo and radiation. Before I get started, if you hear any noise or in the background, that's because this one is over there on the other side of the room watching her phone, right? You want to say hello? All right, come up. Say hi.
Hi.
All right, now go back and watch your phone.
Okay.
So, if you haven't caught up on the journey or you haven't been watching from the beginning, there is a playlist. I'll put it up in the cards. I never can remember what side it's on. So I'll put it in the cards and I'll link the playlist in the description box below. If you have been following from the beginning, then you know that my treatment started here in Las Vegas, but I now travel to Noonan, Georgia to have treatment at Cancer Treatment Centers of America. And let me turn my phone off. There are a few reasons why I decided to make the switch. The first thing that prompted my switch was that I lost confidence and trust in my doctor. In the beginning, I felt really good about her. Now, she seemed very confident when I met her. She came highly recommended by my OB-GYN, who incidentally is the same OB-GYN who delivered Nevaeh. So I really had complete trust in him. So I trusted his recommendation. Now, some red flags did pop up when it took long to get my treatment started, but that's another video. After my hysterectomy is when things started to really go south. So after my hysterectomy in recovery, I was in the hospital an extra 3 days, and that is because my fever, my temperature would spike. It would spike every day towards the end of the day around the same time. She could not figure out why. She tested me for everything, and she couldn't figure out why my fever was spiking. She waited until my fever didn't spike for 24 hours, and then she sent me home. But my fever continued to spike for about a week after I got home. I kind of just had to watch it. Eventually that corrected itself, but we still to this day have no idea why my fever was spiking. The other thing was that her explanation of what was going on or what she saw when she did my hysterectomy was vague, and it was rapid and it was vague. So, and I got two different stories. So she called my mom, and my mom was very displeased with her conversation with this doctor. But she told my mom that she saw more tumors. And then when she talked to me, when she came to see me, what she said was, "I don't think we're done. Your margins are positive." So, and I said, "Well, what does that mean?" She's just like, "Well, I don't think we're done. I think we're going to need some more treatment." And at the time, that was in a hospital room with my fever spiking and me having chills. And I really could not really think or formulate a question in my head other than what does that mean? So I didn't really fully understand what she was talking about. And my mom and I were both very confused about what she meant or what she saw. So we really didn't know what she was talking about. When I met with her in her office again, I asked, what does it mean that my margins are positive? This is when she told me there were no tumors. There's no tumor. She's recommending more chemo, but there's no tumor. So we have some time to decide which way you want to go with treatment. But she recommended chemo, and then she started to list sort of the worst case scenarios, like what the other forms of treatment were. And it didn't really help. She didn't really fully explain what she meant or what she saw. So were there tumors or were there no tumors? We still didn't know. Well, she said there's no tumors. She said there's no tumors, so you have some time, but we do need to do some more chemo or some more treatment. And so I left that appointment after scheduling my chemo to start on the 29th of December. So I'm sorry, on the 29th of January. I didn't really feel like she was confident in what she was doing, and she wasn't really explaining to me what was really going on with me and why we were having to do more treatment. So I didn't feel good about her. So I lost my trust and my confidence in her. The second thing is that I really didn't feel like she cared about treating me, nor I didn't feel like she kind of cared about me. I kind of started to feel like a number. And I'll give you an explanation of why I started to feel that way. Prior to going to start my second round of chemotherapy, I ended up in the hospital with a partial bowel obstruction for a week. I suffered at home for a while with pain and with waves of cramps, and you can hear me in one of my last updates talk about the pain, the cramping, the waves of cramping that I was feeling. And if I can find it, I'll put a clip of it in here somewhere. I have pain mostly at night. I have cramping, and it's kind of like severe cramping, and it's painful, and it comes in waves, it comes and goes. They come, they last for a few seconds, then they go away. But you can hear me talk about that. It was waves of pain. What we discovered was that it was a partial bowel obstruction caused by scar tissue from my hysterectomy. Now the doctors, I didn't go to the same hospital. I went to a hospital where I had Nevaeh, and I went to a hospital because it's close to home, and I was in such severe pain that I didn't want to make the trip all the way to the hospital where I had my hysterectomy because it's clear across town. So I went to this hospital. Now, initially, I was in the same hospital in August when she came to see me and diagnosed me there with cancer. So it's not like she couldn't come to the hospital. But anyway, she consulted with the doctors there, but I never saw her, nor did I hear from her. And I felt like that was not good, given that it was her procedure that caused the scar tissue and the blockage. So I felt like she could at least make a phone call, someone from her office, something, but there was nothing. She did consult with the doctors, and I will concede that she did consult with the doctors, but at that point I really started to feel like a number. And it was another reason why first I've lost confidence, I've lost trust, and now I'm starting to feel like a number. That was just another reason why I made the switch. Now, while all of this is going on, while I'm in the hospital with this partial bowel obstruction, and once I've gotten home, and now I'm in this sort of depressed mode because I don't trust my doctor, I don't feel like I'm getting 100% good care. I'm still suffering from the partial bowel obstruction after I got released from the hospital, but so still recovering from that. So I'm in this real place where I'm upset, I'm angry, and I'm starting to feel depressed. And at this point, all I want to do is kind of sit on the couch and not move. And my mom took action at that point, and she got in touch with Cancer Treatment Centers of America, and she got as far as she could get before they needed to speak to me. And she came into the living room with her phone and said, "Here, talk to these people." So I talked to them. Now, there were four specific things about the consultation and the first visit that really sealed the deal for me. And here are what those four things are. So the first thing was that the consultant I talked to on the phone, he was informed enough to fully explain to me what my doctor meant when she said that my margins were positive. He explained it to me in layman's terms where I could understand what she was talking about. The second thing was that it took less than 3 days for him to clear my insurance, pull my medical records, schedule my visit and my appointments with the doctor, and book my travel. So in less than 3 days, all of that was done. The third thing is that once I got there, the first thing they did was take my labs, do labs. They discovered my potassium was low. So before I even saw my doctor, I had a potassium infusion. And then the next day I saw my doctor. I met my new doctor. Now she was very thorough. She was patient. She also explained everything to me in layman's terms where I could understand what was happening with me and what she recommended for treatment. Before we even started treatment though, she took a look at what was happening with my hysterectomy. She was not pleased with the method that my doctor used, but she said that we could work with it. There is I don't want to get too technical, but there's a complication that I have from my hysterectomy that stopped me from being able to have the full chemotherapy or the normal chemotherapy treatment that they would normally give someone in my situation. So the cocktail's normally 3 drugs. I got 2 because that third drug, because of the complication from my hysterectomy, would have caused a severe decline in my quality of life. So she opted not to do that, but she did a full exam and she did everything she needed to do to determine what kind of treatment I was going to need that was going to be best for me. So I left that appointment with a full plan of action, and I loved her from the beginning. Now, all of this happened in a matter of a week. Really, a couple of days to schedule my appointments, pull my records and get my travel scheduled. A day for me to travel and get checked in. The next day, I'm at CTCA and they're already checking labs and getting my potassium back up where it needed to be and determining what's going on with me, fully explaining to me what's happening with me and a full treatment plan and my next treatment scheduled to begin. And it really was it was within a week all of that happened. And it probably could have been sooner, but I had to postpone because I was in the hospital with that partial bowel obstruction and it ran over. So that all happened in less than a week. By contrast, when my doctor diagnosed me, I was diagnosed in August. I didn't start treatment until October. And prior to getting to CTA and learning that my potassium was extra low, I had been in the hospital getting my blood drawn and labs checked because my fever, again, is spiking, getting my blood drawn and labs checked, and nobody's mentioned I have low potassium. Nobody's mentioned that. So getting to CTA was the first time I heard that my potassium was dangerously low. Dangerously low, meaning they did not even want me to leave that first appointment without giving me a potassium infusion. So they worked quickly and they worked thoroughly. And it was a huge contrast to me from what I was getting in the beginning to what I was getting now at CTCA. The fourth thing was that before all of the appointments and things began, there is an orientation where you meet a lot of the key players, the people who bring you in, the people who do your intake, and the people who provide all of the other extra services that are available to you when you have your treatment at CTCA. So what I learned there was that they were treating the whole person. They were treating the cancer, yes, but they were treating everything else that's affected with you around cancer when you get a cancer diagnosis. So they're treating the side effects, they're treating your spiritual health, and they're treating your mental health. So that's another thing that was key for me in deciding to make the switch. So those 4 things really sealed it for me. There was no question in my mind once I got there and spent my time at CTCA that I needed to switch my treatment to CTCA, even if I had to travel to Atlanta, Georgia to do it, or to Noonan, Georgia to do it. So I had to go where I was going to get the best care, and I felt like I was going to get the best care there. Before I get out of here, I want to give you guys some of the things that I really do love now that I have been being treated at CTCA for I think the last 5 months. I guess it's been 5 months. I've had 5 treatments. I'm headed on Tuesday. Today is Sunday. I'm headed on Tuesday for my last chemotherapy treatment. So I want to share with you guys some of the things that I really do like about this place. The first thing is that there is pastoral care available. You don't have to take advantage of it, or you don't have to use it if that is not your belief stance, if that's not what you believe, if that's not where you are spiritually. You don't have to use it, but it's there. It's available to you. There is a little chapel there. There are pastors there who will pray with you, who will sit with you, who will talk with you. Whatever you need, they're there and they're available to you, and you can use them at any time. There are several areas around this place where you can go and pray. You can go and have your quiet time. You can go and do reflecting. You can take a walk, get some exercise. There are several areas in this place that take care of your spirit, and I love that about CTCA. The second thing that I really loved about CTCA is that in addition to giving the medicinal treatment, they stressed to me in the beginning that we really want to boost up your immune system, because if we can attack cancer with your immune system and attack cancer with a medicine, then it's a two-pronged attack to treat it. So I have access to a dietitian who she gave me all of the tools I need. She gave me a list of the foods that I should be eating that will not only fight cancer themselves, that have cancer fighting properties themselves, and it was specific to my type of cancer. And so she gave me that list of foods and things that would boost my immune system. And she just gave me a bunch of information and tools that were going to help me naturally to help fight the cancer, boost my immune system. I keep saying that, but that's a lot of the tools that they were focused on did that, boost my immune system. So my immune system was strong enough to help fight the cancer along with the chemo. So there was that. That's the second thing. The third thing is I have access to a natural pathologist. Now, I don't want to take a whole bunch of time explaining what a natural pathologist is. I will leave a description or put a description up here so you guys can see it. But I have access to a natural pathologist who gave me a lot of natural holistic supplements that I can take to protect my body from the side effects of chemotherapy. One of the ones I take is astragalus extract, which boosts my white blood cell count and protects my kidneys. Now, we also discovered during my treatment that one of my kidneys was operating slower than it was supposed to, and that was taken care of as well. So I had a small procedure and that was taken care of. It's operating normally now. So the last thing is what I've been talking about so far, is that their focus, their plan of attack for me was to attack it with a two-pronged approach, which is keep my immune system up and strong and healthy so that it could fight the cancer, it could help fight the cancer, and also to treat it with the chemotherapy, to target it with the chemotherapy. And I love that they worked together, like they went hand in hand. So the fact that through all of this, there is only one extra medication that I take beyond my blood pressure medicine. I take a lot of pills, but most of those pills, one is I take 2 vitamin B vitamins, B6. I take 2 tablets of that a day. I take vitamin D, and I take the astragalus extract. Those are all vitamins and supplements. The rest of it, one extra medication. Through this whole process with CTCA, I've only been given one extra medication to take. And I love that their first instinct is not to hand me more drugs, but to go the holistic and natural approach first to treat things. And those, I gotta say, those natural holistic supplements have really helped me to keep side effects at bay. I have so many good days. You guys have been watching this journey from the beginning. I have days where I'm super tired and I need to rest, but I really have had some good days through this whole process. I really cannot complain. I've been blessed and I've received good care. I'm going to close this up. I'm going to wrap this up by just saying that now I've given you all a few reasons why I really love getting my treatment at Cancer Treatment Centers of America. If I have to have cancer, my preference, of course, is not to have cancer. But since I do, I love that my treatment is at this place. And this is, let me just say, this is not an advertisement for Cancer Treatment Centers of America. This is not sponsored or anything like that. But this is my experience, and this is my truth. And I just wanted to share this with you guys. So I have to say that by contrast, I've just given you a list of things that I love about having my treatment at Cancer Treatment Centers of America. By contrast, none of those things were available to me or mentioned to me or addressed with me with my previous doctor. Now, I don't expect them to be, but if I was going to get what I'm getting at CTCA and stay with my current doctor, I would have had to research all those things by myself with Google, with people who I would have had to reach out and sort of find my own information. I didn't have to do that. Everything you need is available to you right there in this one place. And they do it automatically. You don't have to ask. You can ask for an appointment. You can ask for it, but everything's right there. My procedure with for my kidney was done right there at Cancer Treatment Centers of America. There's a pharmacy there. I pick up my medications before I go home. If I forget a medication, like my blood pressure medicine, I can just have it transferred to this pharmacy and they can fill it for the days that I'm there. And so I don't have to miss doses for my blood pressure medicine. So it's really just a really well-rounded care. And again, by contrast, none of that stuff was available to me with my previous doctor. So the other thing is that there's one more thing that I didn't mention. Now, through all of this, now, you know, guys, I still work. I do have a job. I do have to work. I was on leave for a long time. And getting on leave, getting on FMLA requires paperwork to be handled by your doctor. My doctor charges money for that. Money for that. So I had to pay with Cancer Treatment Centers of America. It's part of their service. They take care of the paperwork, they fax it where it needs to go, and it's done in a timely fashion. I didn't have to pay anything for that, anything extra. Now, my doctor's already using my insurance. She was already using my insurance, but I still had to pay extra to have paperwork filled out. Cancer Treatment Centers, they're using my insurance, but they're not charging me to fill out paperwork. Now, I understand the difference between the sizes of the offices. I get that. But that's just another thing. So that's it, you guys. That's why I switched doctors. I hope it's clear. I hope I was clear with why I switched. If you are in this cancer fight, anywhere in your journey, if you are anywhere in your journey and you do not feel like you are getting good treatment, my advice to you is to seek out and find a doctor that you trust, a doctor that you feel is listening to you, a doctor that you feel is giving you the best possible care. Seek out the best, most well-rounded care or treatment plan that you can find. Because if you decide to get treatment, because not everybody does, no two cancers are alike, and there's not a one-size-fits-all type of treatment for cancer. It's all different, and the different cocktails cause different side effects, and everyone's experience with the treatment is different. But if you are in this journey, if you are in this fight, and you have decided to have treatment, medical treatment, then find a doctor who has the most well-rounded treatment plan, and find a doctor who you trust, who you have confidence in, and who you feel is listening to you. You have to be an advocate for yourself, and you have to demand and seek out the kind of service or care that you deserve. So that is my advice to you. I'm going to stop here. If you guys have done anything at all to help with this fight of mine, with my battle with cancer, if you guys have done anything, whether that's a prayer, a message, a gift, anything, or all of the above, if you've done any of that, if you've contributed to the GoFundMe page, which by the way helps to pay my medical expenses, if you have contributed to any of that, know that you made a difference and that you're appreciated, and thank you. So that's it for me, guys. subscribe if you haven't already and you want to continue to follow this journey. Follow me on Instagram for real-time updates and stories. Ladies, if you are not having your annual checkups, please go and do that. Prevention and early detection are the best tools you have available to you to fight cancer or prevent cancer. So please go and get your checkups. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye. All right, before we get out of here, Nevaeh wants to show you guys something. Come here. What do you want to show them, honey?
Look at my phone, guys. This is Peppa with her mom. Her name is Mummy Pig.